I was introduced to 8th grade 2 years ago, and I was a part of the first group that went to training to bring it to Norfolk Senior High School. I'm very excited about it, especially after we had done it. What I think what really connected me was the personal things that came into it. Two of the highways especially were very personal to me. The first one's full responsibility, and I'm a very responsible person, very kind of a control freak. And what I found out through full responsibility is that it's not my responsibility to be responsible for everyone. And it really improved my relationship with my children, who I've constantly watched over and tried to make sure they were making the right decisions and things. And I learned to release a little bit and allow them to have their own full responsibility. And it was a very big part of the relationship between me and my children. The second one that is really important to me is the full communication. I'm married 29 years at the time, 31 years now. And my wife and I had never really fully communicated because we're both oldest children, and we were both control freaks, and we were both wanted to say what we wanted to say and not listen to what was being said. And through this process, I really learned how to communicate more openly, and it's really improved our relationship, my wife and I. So I'm very thankful for that part of 8th grade. And I was able to take that then with the energy that you get from something like that and really believe in it deep down and take it to the classroom. And I think that it's really been a big part of why it's so successful with the kids that I have. I'm also a psychology teacher at Norfolk Senior High School, and although this was not intended to be used in the classroom, it was more of a, we call it a Panther lunch for our younger kids. I started using it in my psychology classes, and my psychology kids really locked into it, and we were only planning on using it every once in a while, and we finally turned it into Great Mondays, we called it. And every Monday we would go into 8 to Great process and talk about some of the things that were taught in 8 to Great. And what we found out is a lot of these kids started using that terminology and that language. And I'm also a coach, a football and track coach. And one day, one of the young ladies that I have in class, I saw her. She had had a very poor day at the high jump. And as I walked by her, I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Not very good. However, I am going to be 95 by the end of the day." And so already you can see, and that was within the first week of having this young lady in the class, and already the terminology was being used as far as how she was feeling and expressing her feelings to me. The training was a very personal thing for me. I went over there with a few teachers from the school that I didn't know real well. By the end of the 3-day training, we knew each other much better, and I felt like I knew myself much better. Very, very emotional for me. I found places in my personality that I hadn't realized were there. And once I was able to explore those, I was able to kind of expand and really understand about my relationships with my family and my students and such. And it's been really good for me dealing with my students in the class. Each student seems to resonate with different highways. Each individual has their own experience that they bring into the classroom, and you'll notice that each one of them connects at different times. Some take a long time to come in. Some of them are there the first day. And when I asked my students, what is it about it that really brought you in? The first word that came to me about the classroom that we use this in was an individual who, the first words out of his mouth was, "It's safe. 8th to Grade is safe. I feel like when I come into the classroom, I can say whatever I want, I can feel whatever I want, and I'm not going to be judged by my classmates." When I asked the students how long it took for them to feel that it was a safe environment for them, some said a week, some said a month, but they said they were all hooked by 6 months. It took that long for some of them to feel like they were in a safe environment, that they could express themselves and feel all their feelings and things. And others felt that forgiveness was a big one, very big. Forgiveness for some of the students. I've had some that were just immersed in the forgiveness process and came out at the other end a totally different person, totally different personality. After my first training, I felt that it was something that my mother had to be connected with. And before you understand what it means to me to have her connected with 8 to Grade, she's really quite an amazing person. 73 years old, 7 children, lost her first husband, divorced the second, married a third time, has run over 120 marathons. She's been Mrs. South Dakota. She's been a power lifter. She's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. She has run across the Isthmus of Panama. She has done just about everything. So she's quite an amazing person before 8 to Grade. And when I told her it was something that I thought she needed to do, she said, "All right, I'll do it." As you can see, she's got a rather broad belief in anything that she wants to do. And she came into the training, and through the course of the training, as she and I went through it together, she really, we became closer, and I learned more about her. She learned more about me, and I just felt it was a great process to share. She talks about it to this day. We're going to go back and train together again when we have an opportunity. And at 73 years of age, I think that's quite an accomplishment.